Okay, so I have this really awesome book here by Auntie Hannah Yaawusuah Adjepong. I hope I got the name right.
You got it right.
Thank you. And it's Zelia, the Young Gazelle. So I'm going to read, and I hope that I read it well so you enjoy it. Zelia, the Young Gazelle. Tetagumu, the male gazelle, was very proud of Zelia, the new baby gazelle. His mate, Fabra, loved every minute she spent with Zelia. She would lick her fur lovingly, which Zelia loved her to do. The plains were full of so many different creatures, and the recent rainfall had made everything lush and green. The golden sunset made it feel so good to be alive. The plains cooled when the sun went down, and most of the animals huddled together to settle in for the night. And it's such a wonderful illustration. I love it so much. I want to be there with them. Tetagumu said that at this time of the day, it seemed as if the Creator came close to the animals. It felt as though he walked through the plains and bathed everything in a peaceful and warm glow. Snuggling between her parents, Zelia asked, "Does the sky become golden when the Creator walks through the plains?" "I think so," Tetagumu replied, "because at evening most animals rest for the day, and the Creator loves to visit when they are at rest." The night sky became very beautiful when the stars came out. They seemed to embrace everything with love. The sound of crickets chirping to each other was like a lullaby. The frogs in the pond will burst into a chorus after a rainfall and will not stop all night long. "What do the owls say when they hoot to each other?" Zelia asks. "I think the owls are saying good night. There will be time for more questions tomorrow. It is time to sleep now." Fabra smiled and kissed her baby good night. Zelia yawned and closed her eyes, rested her head on her front legs, and snuggled between her parents to sleep. The birds were already awake like nature's alarm clocks, waking the other animals up. They twittered and chirped different tunes like a choir. When Zelia woke up, she wondered if it was evening again, because the sunrise made everything golden and had scattered beautiful patterns of tree shadows across the grass the same way it did in the evening. Can I go on to read? I'm enjoying it.
Yes. Maybe another chapter.
Another chapter, okay. Thank you so much. "I wish I understood what the birds are saying," Zelia said to her mother. "It must be fun living high up in the trees. Do you think the birds see the sunrise before we do, Mommy?" "Yes, they do," replied her mother. "It is because they rise very early. They greet the dawn. They preen themselves and flap their wings a little before they begin singing to the Creator." Said Zelia thoughtfully. "Do we have a song we could sing for the Creator?" And so I'll leave it here for you to find out and discover what happens next in this wonderful story, Zelia, the Young Gazelle. I'm loving it, and the illustrations are so awesome. And I'm sure they're available online as well.
On Lulu.com.
Lulu.com.
And also on Amazon.
Oh, awesome. That's
Yes.
good. That's good. That's awesome. And I love the story. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And we have another amazing book titled Sporty Blue Ted by Auntie Hannah Yaawusuah Adjepong. A life-affirming story. And I'll probably read a few pages so we can at least have a taste and a feel of who Sporty Blue Ted is. I'm sure he's a wonderful chap. In the beautiful world of teddy bears, Blue Ted lived in the land of blue grain. In blue grain, everything except the green grass was blue, as were all the teddy bears. Though the bears called their home blue grain, it was actually the bedroom of a boy named Tom. Tom lived in a big mansion with his parents and sisters. They had a housekeeper who washed and ironed their clothes and took care of the house, a cook who cooked very delicious food and baked lovely cakes and scones, and a gardener who made the gardens look beautiful. And that's the mansion. Tom's room had blue wallpaper, blue curtains, blue sheets, and a big fluffy blue duvet. Tom called his room blue grain because, apart from the green carpet which his mother had chosen, he liked everything in it to be blue. His toy car, aeroplane, and all his soft toys were blue. Tom's favorite blue teddy bear was bright blue all over, except for his face, ears, hands, and feet, which were pale blue. He also had pale blue spots all over his bright blue fur. One night during a thunderstorm, a wonderful thing happened. All of a sudden, all the teddy bears and soft toys came alive. They could suddenly walk and talk. The teddy bears looked at each other in amazement. Blue Ted rubbed his eyes and to his surprise saw a yellow teddy bear standing in Tom's blue bedroom. "Who are you?" Blue Ted asked the strange yellow bear. "Why do you look so different and bright?" "I am Yellow Bear," he answered, looking around Tom's room. "How can you live in this place where everything is blue?" Blue Ted asked Yellow Bear, "Where have you come from and what are you doing here?" And so I'd leave it here for you to read and find out what happens next in our amazing book, Sporty Blue Ted by Auntie Hannah Yaawusuah Adjepong.
Thank you. That's wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Writing for children is amazing.
Yes.
I think it takes you back to your own childhood.
Absolutely.
And the joy of seeing the children really absorb the story and really make the characters their own is so fulfilling. And I'm so glad that I write for children, and I'm sure you have the same sentiment.
Same sentiment here. It's such an awesome experience. And I've been loving it since day one.
Right. Well, I think there is a young man here who wants to conduct an interview.
Okay.
So we're all ears.
It started when I had my first child, a girl. And about age 2, I had an issue with the kind of books that were available for her to read. And most of these books I felt didn't have the relevant content that she could sort of relate to, because, you know, in our setting, in our country, we don't experience snow, and we're not too conversant with fairies and things like that. That's right. I felt she needed to read about things that she saw and things that she could easily relate to.
Right.
And so when this challenge came up, I asked myself, well, being someone who was into advertising, being an illustrator and a bit of a copywriter, and a designer, why couldn't I just write a story, at least one story for her, to be able to read and appreciate, you know,
that's right.
Yeah, the story and probably characters that sort of looked like her, you know, and things that she could relate to. And so that's how it started. And I started with The Girl in the New Dress. So that was my first book.
That's the book?
Yes. So
The
that's
Girl in the New Dress?
That's the book, yes.
Okay.
And so that's how it all started, you know, and then it moved from there to other books.
Right,
Yes.
right. Okay. I chose to write for children because I believe that if we can impact children with positive images and positive stories, they absorb it, they understand it better, and it helps them to feel good about themselves. Most of my characters are either wild animals or soft toys, and children they love soft toys. So with Spotty Blue Ted, for instance, I used it to write about being different. And when Spotty Blue Ted, when you read the book, you find that he got to Rainbow Land where there were different color toys, and he was the only blue teddy there, and the other teddy bears didn't like him. And so I use these stories to address problems that children face, like bullying, like low self-esteem. So I use the animal characters to tell the story, and you can see the children really see themselves in the story. I call my stories life affirming because I like to get the children to really own the story and find where they are in the story, and it helps them that way.
Awesome. I think, you know, being a father, being a parent is such a thrilling experience. And for me, when I look at my children and how they're growing and some of the things they sort of embrace and the environments, I mean, I get inspired to write about some of the things they experience, as well as some of the things I experienced as a child. So I like it when you mention bullying as one of the themes or some of the things you really talk about, because I mean, being a child, I was bullied at some point in time in school, and also I know some of these kids go through some of these things, but then there are other values that I feel we need to instill in our children.
Right.
So like being kind, being respectful, being helpful, you know, sharing and things like that. So for me, when I collect all these things and then try to, you know, represent them, have them represented in the stories that I write, to help these kids become better people, to help them to appreciate each other, and then not to commit some of the mistakes that we sort of experience in our past.
Okay. Right. What inspires me is the ability to make children feel wanted, the ability to make children feel that they're special, that every child is important, every child is special. Because I live in the UK, which is a multicultural nation, we have children from all over the world. And writing stories like Spotty Blue Ted and Panda Song, Zelia the Young Gazelle, my aim is to get all the children, because they all feel the same thing wherever they come from. So that is what inspires me. My inspiration is to make children feel that every child is important, and that unites them. And if I achieve that, then that's mine.
Do I even have a favorite? I think it's the character is what how do you call it? What attracts me the most. So in my case, the first 5 books that I wrote were about Lulu. She is more of like the main character, and then she has other, you know, characters supporting her. So it's a bit difficult, but maybe I would pick Lulu and Tambo, probably as my favorite.
Yeah.
Because of the story, you know, Tambo being a puppy that gets lost, and Lulu finding Tambo, and you know what eventually happens at the end of the story, for me, I think is such a wonderful experience. So I'd probably pick that out, even though it's a difficult choice.
Which of my books do I like most?
Yes.
It's difficult. It's like asking a parent, which of your children do you like most? And that is a no question. You don't even go there. And writing a book is like having a baby. Okay, all the children are different, and they all have something special to bring to the family. But I would say that though Panda Song is not the most favorite, I don't think I've written it yet. The most favorite book has not yet been written. But Panda Song is a book that I wrote. It had been on my heart for a long time. It's about low self-esteem and how Panda, of all the birds, didn't feel that she was beautiful. I created this story where all the animals in the world live together, and they all started showing off their colors. You know, if you look at the tiger and the parrot and the peacock, Panda felt a bit dull. And I think what I'm trying to convey in this story is that no matter how you look, tall, short, white, brown, green, whatever, you are special. And when Panda realized that she was special, she started to sing. So I wrote Panda Song, and my daughter composed a song actually to go with the story. And the song is so easy to sing, makes children feel happy, because the song says, I am special, I'm unique, or I am part of the colors of the rainbow, and we all come in different shapes and sizes, big or small. We're all full of surprises. And I think that is the story that is being performed on stage this coming June at Crystal Palace Festival.
So for me, it's more of the end is what actually thrills me the most. But from the beginning, I try to put myself in a certain, you know, zone. Sometimes I have to think like a kid and imagine, dream like a kid, you know, to get, you know, all those things that I need to put into the story. So I take my adulthood, you know, and stash it somewhere and begin to, you know, think like a kid and dream like a kid. And as much as possible, there are times when, for instance, making the illustrations for these books, I actually mimic the expressions, you know,
right.
And I can see a reflection of my face in the computer screen. And there are times when I just mimic these expressions, and that energy is what I put into the illustration that I make. And you know, getting the story put together in terms of like the manuscript and then the illustrations is tedious. There are times when I do struggle, I have to admit, you know, because you put something down, but you realize it's not right, you know, it's not as you expect it to be. You have to sleep over it and then wake up in the morning and then go over it again. So I remember it's taking me about close to a year to even write a book, I mean, for kids, you know. But the most thrilling part is when you're finally done, it goes through the editors and the proofreaders, and then it's ready for production, and it goes to the printers. You see the final work, and it's clean, it's amazing. I mean, that's one feeling that, you know, I mean, if I have to describe, I'd say it's close to be heavenly, basically. Yeah, but then I tell you what's been touching is the reaction of the kids.
That's right.
When they see the book or the books, they see the characters and they read the stories. I mean, for me, that's what touches me the most, because you realize it puts them in a certain world, It makes them, for some of the kids, it makes them feel like they're special because they can see characters that look just like them, characters that do things that they do, you know, very ordinary, regular things that they do, and then characters that sort of encourage and empower them to pursue their dreams, you know, to be more creative, innovative, to be more, you know, likable, and all that. And for me, it's the reaction of the kids that actually touches me and moves me the most, and it makes me feel, okay, I must be doing something right, you know, and be making some difference, you know. So if I have to go through all the processes, I think the very end bit where the kids come into contact with the book is what actually does it for me.
Yes, I think I will echo what you've just said. Writing for children is one of the most fulfilling things for me. And also for me, it's my interaction with the other parts of the industry, like proofreaders, the editors and illustrators. With Panda Song, when I sent a story to my illustrator, he brought the pencil drawing, and I knew he'd got a story. He just got it. And you know, for me, even though this book is a story that I wrote, it's a collaboration with other you know, industries. And I like the illustrations. They're just amazing illustrations. And it's humorous. It's really humorous. Where a place where the buffalo and the zebra were arguing about whether the creator painted the sky up and down or side to side. And these are the things that you listen to children. And by listening to children, you hear their conversation. And that is what helps me to put all these things in the story. There's nothing to beat holding the book in your hands and reading it to children, and children hugging the book. Really get the book and they hug it because they love it.
That's a huge question. I mean, there's quite a lot I would, if I had the opportunity to do, but for me, it's, let's say I would want to encourage parents to encourage their kids and help their kids read at home. You'd agree with me that we have a situation where we don't have too many libraries around like we used to have years ago. But if parents would just dedicate some place in their homes and could create, you know, small libraries there and you know, stack them with books, and every now and then they help their kids read, you know, or get their kids to read the books, at least a book a day. I mean, I think that would really help. That way it would even encourage these kids to also introduce reading to their friends in school. And I think that would probably be the most, you know, simplest way to curb this whole thing.
Helping child literacy in Ghana. I'm so conscious of the fact that there are many parents who have not been to school themselves and therefore can't read to their children. So I want to support any program that will encourage our young people, not just those in national service, but our young people who are in school. Rebuild a community, you know, visit a home where the mother can't read, father can't read, or both of them are too busy. So I would like to reconnect the generations. If we can get younger people in school who will come to maybe a home or a place to read to the children. You know, as Delali said, libraries are so important. But if there are no libraries in the area, can we create something? Maybe on a Saturday morning, just for about 2 hours, get the children together and get another school child, somebody who is in senior school, to come and read to them. Can we make that happen? I think it would be a brilliant idea. And it will build a community together. People will get to know each other again. And therefore, be able to connect in a very positive way. Right. So Delali, thank you so much for spending this time with me.
Thank you.
And for all the amazing books that you've written.
Sure.
Let's keep up this amazing work. I believe it's a gift.
Thank you.
And as a gift, we got to share it. So we're just sharing our gift. We're not better than anybody. We're just sharing our gift. So come along, buy the books. I hear there's going to be a book fair in Ghana.
Yes.
Okay.
August.
So if you come into the book fair, look for Delali's book and look for me. We're going to collaborate and be together. Thank you.
Thank you.